Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Beyond the Airbrush. And as usual, it's a special episode because today I am with Welshi. Hello, Welshi.
Hello, hello. Good to
How
be
are
here.
you? You're doing good?
I'm doing great, mate. Yeah. It's
Great.
a Thursday morning. It's almost a weekend.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
couldn't get better.
And today we are going to discuss a lot of things about the heresy and the hobby, but specifically we're going to talk about Blood Angels, and that's the first time we have Blood Angels on the series. So I tried to wear something red, but I don't have anything red, so I went with pink. So yeah, yeah, we
Fair
can.
enough, right? It's on that red end of the spectrum. Yep.
Right. Yeah, it's not much about color theory, etc. But yeah.
Yeah.
And so just to get to know a bit Welshi, so you're from Scotland, right?
I am.
And not from
Yes.
Wales?
I'm not from Wales, which is a common mistake people make, and quite often throws people off the first time they hear me speak, and they're expecting a much different accent. But no. So I am called Welshie because my second name is Welsh. um, so
Right.
yeah, really imaginative people. Back when I was a teenager, stuck a Y on the end,
Mm.
and and here we are, 25 years later, still Welshie, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that
So
that
yeah, that's the story behind that.
yeah, but
Um,
that's a great nickname to carry.
yeah.
And so yeah, I managed to find a Scottish flag like who looks like he went through the battlefield of
Yeah, that flag's seen some action.
yeah,
I like it. It's
actually.
good weathering effects on that flag.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually. So yeah, and, on the side of the screen, you have a small taste of what you can find on Welsh's Instagram account, which is at Welshi_paints. And so, as you may see, I am very much honored because Welshi is not any, I mean, random Blood Angels aficionado, is the actual and returning champion of No Retreat,
I
if
mean,
I'm correct. So
yeah,
you,
well, yeah, I mean, I didn't win a game though. Let's be clear on that.
yeah, but
So I will not be offering any tactical advice during this interview. You know? Yeah.
but did you put that on your resume?
When I reapplied this year,
No,
yeah,
for
yeah.
the yeah. I
I
won.
done a little tongue in cheek like special rules section for myself, you know. So yeah,
Right.
um,
And so, as you can see, so Welshi is deep in love with the Blood Angels, but maybe there's something quite different that is coming in the next few months. Because
maybe.
if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
that's an
coming
island.
back,
Yeah.
coming back because
Ah,
you've not been in the hobby. Well, I know because I've watched the rest of your series, so I know you got back into the hobby about 2022.
yeah.
So you wouldn't have known me back when I was deep into. I had a loyalist Iron Warriors army. So
Oh.
this won't be a new project; it'll be a reimagining of
Mm.
an older project. So yeah,
Yeah, but
that's the plan.
all
Anyway,
right. So those other stripes on the stairs for your Blood Angels bases were a little hint or something of the
yeah.
return of the
Oh.
Iron Warriors.
You're maybe giving me a little bit too much credit there, to be honest. I don't normally think that far ahead. Um, I would say that, they definitely helped, but with the Blood Angels, it was more just about breaking up those big grey
Yeah.
concrete bases,
Yeah.
and then it was a happy accident that I then used it for the next project. Um, but yeah, no, I don't have a strategy where I'm thinking
No.
about the next project, so it was definitely just a happy accident.
All right. So, to get started, so actually, to give you credit for that, it was your original idea to do some archaeology and to dig up pics of the
Yeah.
first minis. The people who are featured in the series might have painted. So, actually, it was your idea, but Geoff from the last episode already
Yeah,
get to do
yeah.
that. Got to do that.
Yeah,
But
this high elf that was actually quite good. You
no,
know, putting
actually,
everybody
yeah,
else's
no,
first minis to shame.
yeah. When he sent me the pics, I was like, "Are you sure this is your very first mini?" I
Yeah,
don't know.
right.
Yeah, you know.
But then he's got a background in art, hasn't he? So it probably was his first, and it was actually really quite nice as well. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. So, I get that the little boy on the little wizard is your very first mini.
Yes, that is the original white metal Primaris Psyker for the old Imperial Guard range. That's not the first mini I ever painted, to be
Mm,
100% honest with you. It's the oldest surviving
yeah.
example of a miniature that I painted.
Mm,
And what the reason why I wanted you to include it is I think it's important that, we're here, we're talking about art and stuff like that. And I've been at it for probably about 20 years over a 30-year period.
mm,
And I finally feel like I'm getting half decent at it. I wouldn't say I was good, but I feel like I'm getting there.
mm.
But like we all started somewhere, didn't we? We were all finger painting at one
Yeah,
point. We were all terrible. And I think it's important to remember that, because like nobody wants to end up being pretentious, do they?
mm,
So I keep that little guy. Um, got him mid 90s. I only actually owned about six paints. I think I could
yeah,
probably name them looking at them. Yeah, yeah. Ultramarine blue, Space Wolves grey, Jade green.
yeah.
Yeah, like I could probably name that. I'm pretty sure I only had six paints at that time, right? And I did the best that I could, but it's objectively terrible, right? It's not a nice painted model. Um, so yeah, like I think it's really, really important. No matter how good, even the best painters in the world, who I'm not going to name drop anybody because I don't want to start a fight, in the comments section or anything. But even the best painters in the world were at one point terrible painters when they started out, right?
Yeah,
Um, so I think it's important to notice that, for a wee bit of self-reflection, look how far you've come on your own painting journey. But the journey still goes, doesn't it? It
yeah.
never ends. Like, we're learning every day, aren't we? So that's why I wanted to show off this sort of terrible example of my own work, Whereas,
Actually, it's not that terrible because we may notice that there are some highlights on the robe, you know. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, okay. There was an effort was made, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And then you have like the face. Well, I mean,
It's
lately we saw some faces on the Warco website, you know,
yeah.
painted by community painters. Well, some of those were, yeah, about that level of painting. So, yeah, it's not that bad, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been worse, couldn't it?
It could have
Yeah,
been
it
worse.
could have ended a lot more badly than it did.
But, you know,
Yeah,
the thing is, back in those days, I get you're a kid of the 80s, like me.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
back in those days, like you had a white giraffe with some
Yeah, there were
painting
no
tutorials.
resources outside of White Dwarf. Yeah,
And you were trying like following the step by step, and then
yeah,
you had a look at the white draft. The mini was super neat,
yeah.
beautiful, and then you looked at your mini who looked just like that, and we were like, yeah, what happened? I did everything
Exactly,
wrong.
and there was no YouTube. There were,
Mm.
no Patreons, like
Oh,
no kind of
well, actually,
third-party magazines or anything like that. Just the range of products available back then was so much less than it is now.
no
So
internet.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Plus, yeah, and I was 12, right? So yeah, I had no money. So yeah, it was a bit of a task trying to learn how to paint. And back then, the culture was white undercoats as well.
Yeah.
So, the black undercoat now that we mostly use
Mm.
is, adds a lot more depth to the colours, doesn't it? But,
Yeah.
the the white undercoat, it helped for saturation, but it didn't really forgive a lot of sins if you made
Yeah.
mistakes.
Mm.
So yeah, it's bad. And beside this guy is one of the first Iron Warriors I painted
Yeah.
for my old army.
I was about
Um,
to ask. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So
the,
this is
the,
from 2017.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so 8 years old now. I'd taken a big long break from the hobby and then got back into it, Loyal Iron Warriors, and he was about maybe the 11 for 12 model that I painted.
Mm.
So when I was just sort of finding my groove, and
Well,
I,
I I mean,
pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Well, the stripes are really neat, etc. So yeah, I think it's still a very yeah, it's still a very good model. Like
Yeah,
your style and painting skills have evolved since then, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And then the even the small shield, the shoulder shield, is a nice
yeah,
touch. So yeah, no, it's still a pretty
yeah.
good mini.
I think that
Ah,
was probably the first time I ever tried a blend
yeah.
on that the red on that shield. Yeah, I kept him. I sold the whole army, but I've kept that guy.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a legend in my own sort of head canon. You know, he's a lot of literature about him, a lot of fanfic. Right? Yeah.
Right. But just um, how did you get into the hobby to get that first wizard? Or not
Yeah,
the
so
very, very first one?
probably quite a familiar story. I was at my dad's house, so my parents had split up. I was at my dad's house, and across the back fence, I had a mate called Chris, and he had Space Crusade.
Ah,
So
yeah.
every weekend, I would go to my dad's. With Chris had a gigantic shed in his back garden, and we used to hang out in his shed and play Space Crusade. And then, I don't know if you ever played it, but it was a really, really horrible old sort of like they weren't even really Space Marines at that point. They were almost like proto Space
Yeah.
Marines. And they were all holding guns like this, very close to their chest, and then the dreadnought that looked like Ed 209. That was it. But I was like, oh my God, look at this future world with these guys and they're fighting a last stand on this spaceship. There's aliens everywhere and bad guys everywhere. Loved it. And at that point, second edition was just coming out with the Blood Angel in the background over there.
Mm. Yeah.
And I remember, I'll never forget this. I don't know why, but it's lodged in my memory. It cost £36.49 for the starter set from Argos. So I made a deal with my mum that if I walked the dog, I got paid £1, right? So I
Ah,
walked the dog 37 times to get Warhammer 40,000, right, to get the starter set, and that was it. And then that was I was a tiny little guy. I think I was only 11 or 12 back then. I can't
mm.
remember the exact age, but I was very young. I was at primary school anyway, and yeah, here we are, all these years later. Right? Same artwork, same hobby, same, well, not quite the same game because it's Heresy now,
No.
but same universe, right?
Mm.
And you never really look back, to be honest.
Yeah. And
Loved it.
you only did or play like the sci-fi Games Workshop universe, or maybe you did some
I
fantasy?
dabble, I dabble. So
Mm.
I love More Time, which I think
Oh yeah.
everybody loves More Time.
Oh
It's the
yeah.
most universally
Yeah.
adored game that
Absolutely.
Games Workshop have ever put out.
Mm.
So I love More Time. Witch Hunters, especially, they're my guys in More Time. And I used to have an old who's the red and white Empire guys? Is it Reichland that are red and
Yeah.
white?
Yeah.
I forget because it's been a while, but I had those guys. Um, so I've tried to play fantasy, but just the prospect of painting 200 models
Oh
to
yeah.
rank them
Yeah.
up,
Mm.
I've never got through that barrier, right? So I only like playing with painted armies. I
Mm.
don't like having a plastic. I think if I can quote Jeff from the last episode, it breaks the immersion, doesn't it, when you're playing with grey plastic? So I never beat that barrier down
Mm.
of having a painted fantasy force. But I would love to play it. I occasionally feel like, oh yeah, maybe I could play the old world. Now it's back, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, having to paint all those miniatures, right? Yeah, so I probably won't. But I would like to, it's the thought that counts, right? So
Yeah.
in spirit, I'm there, I'm on board. But in reality, it's probably never going to happen.
Mm.
I'll
Oh,
stick to
you never
stick to
know.
30K.
You know,
Yeah,
well, actually, that having a fully painted Warhammer Fantasy Battle Army was one of my childhood dream, and
yeah,
actually, I managed to do that this year. But I mean, I chose wisely. I did a Chaos Army, so you don't have
yeah, yeah. So
many,
they're kind of
many
elite,
models,
right? Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, if you choose wisely, like not like Geoff, who bought about maybe 200 elves lately,
I
I think.
know.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? All in one go as well.
Yeah, yeah.
The man doesn't do anything by half, does he?
Yeah, that's it. I call that being really optimistic, in
Yes,
yeah.
but he'll finish. I believe in him, you
Yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll trust him to to do that
Yeah,
by
100%.
2030. 56 maybe.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Wait, wait.
there's no time limit on this, right?
So all in all, how many years were you in the hobby?
I think probably around 20, but over about a 30-year period, I would
Yeah.
say.
Mm.
My story's quite similar to everybody else. You get
Yeah.
into the hobby as a kid, you become a teenager, you realise it's not cool and you're not going to get a girlfriend. So you hide it for a few years, don't you? Right? And you stick it on the back burner. And then you get to a certain age when you realise actually, like, I don't care if people think I'm cool. I just want to do the things that I love
Exactly.
anyway. And that's I guess that comes with maturity, doesn't it? As well, I got years ago, I was a, got injured in my eye, so one of my eyes doesn't really work properly. So I thought I would never paint again. But
Oh,
like,
come on.
so I took a big long break again at that point, and then out of sheer stubbornness, basically kept trying,
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's kind of getting back. So that yeah, so a couple of big breaks, but about 20 years in total, um, over the last 30 odd years.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, I guess you could call me a veteran in Games
Yeah.
Workshop terms. They say if you've been at it for more than 10 years, you're a veteran. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
I don't know
yeah.
who came up with that, but yeah, like I've been around the block. I remember second edition, I remember the change to the old Grimdark third edition. Those were the
Yeah.
glory days of 40k.
Hmm.
And then watching it slowly get watered down and watered down to now it's quite kind of anemic, isn't it?
Yeah.
40k, it's
Mm.
just generic sci-fi, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so yeah, I've seen it all. I've been stuck to Games Workshop though.
Yeah.
I try and branch out, I don't know if it's the same for you, but I'll try and play other games from other universes, and they just don't stick in my brain the
Yeah.
way 40k and Heresy has, like they
Yeah.
just I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because these games already take up so much of my headspace anyway.
Mm.
But other stuff just it doesn't stay in there, you
Doesn't
know?
stick. Yeah. Mm. I can feel you about that. Well, I actually didn't really try because, well, when I was a kid, I played 40K, Fantasy Battle, and Necromunda. But now I'm only into Heresy because, well, I know, and Mordheim a bit. We are trying to
Yeah.
get into Mordheim with some friends, but it's also a matter of available time. Like,
Well, yeah, you're right.
um,
You've got a family, haven't you?
yeah.
So
So yeah,
your hours are limited, right? And you can't
exactly.
with the best will in the world, you can't have like 10 game systems that you're interested in because if you've got a full-time job, a wife and kids, you may only get one game a month if you're lucky.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So it's one of them. We locally among my friend group, we kind of call it the filter, right? So games just don't pass the filter anymore because why would you if you've got one day a month and you've got that sort of 6 hour block to go and play a
Mhm.
game, you want to play like 3 or 4 thousand points of heresy, don't you?
Ex-
You want to get all your
ex-
big toys out. You don't
mhm.
want to just play like with four miniatures, Shadespire, or it's not even
Yeah.
called Shadespire anymore, is it? It's got a new name now. But yeah, like it's one of them that if you get limited opportunity, you want to use as much of your stuff as you can when that opportunity arises. So yeah, I feel you on that. It's one of those things that like I much like yourself now, I've essentially given up on trying to branch out.
Yeah.
And I've just made my peace that I'm a heresy gamer and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. All the same. So,
So
just a quick thought about the hobby. So it's an easy way to spend all the money that we
yeah.
earn at work or doing what we do. But does it help in life in general?
Yes, no, I really think it does. So for me, and obviously I can only speak for myself, but I'm quite a busy guy. I've got a job, and my job at times can be no, quite intense, right? So
Mm.
it's not like I'm lucky, right? I've got a good job. I work at home, and yeah, I'm only working at a desk, so it's not physically hard or anything like
Mm.
that. But sometimes it can be mentally intense, and sometimes you need to do stuff that you don't agree with, and it affects other people and stuff like that. So it can be quite stressful. And hobbies are a really great way to de-stress.
Mm.
It's just me at my really messy desk that I showed you earlier on, um, just me at my desk. when I hobby, I do it in complete silence late at night when everybody else is asleep. So
Mm.
like it's quite, I don't want to use the word therapeutic because that sounds like a total cliche, but it is quite therapeutic to sit there in silence producing something. And then at the end, I've got this thing that I've done, and it's like a footprint in the sand, isn't it? It's
Mm.
like, Welshie was here today, and this is what he created. So I really like it for that because it gives me like a sort of centre, a little focus that's purely for me, my own little space, and to forget the rest of the world and all the stresses and stuff like that. So I really think it does benefit like that. Um, Obviously if you don't want to be like, oh yeah, just get the paintbrushes out if you're going through a crisis or anything like
Mm.
that. I don't mean it like that, but for me, it helps to sort of get over the day, um, and just chill me out a little bit. So I really like it for that, and I think as well socially, when we get to my age, so I'm 41 now, and I obviously I've got my job, my wife, my kids, so I don't really go out much,
Mm.
but like I've got my mates, but all my mates have got wives and kids and jobs as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So the sort of the social element has sort of dwindled off a little bit, but the hobby keeps that alive because I've got a really good sort of friend group now,
Mm.
purely from Warhammer, and even just purely from Instagram as well.
Mm.
Guys that I had never met until
Yeah.
recently. Then I meet them in flesh at No Retreat, for example. But then we chat every day, so it keeps the social side alive. Hobby is like it's a very individual activity but
Mm.
it's also a very social community to be in. So
Mm.
I think it's really great for that. And like, a lot of guys that I know that I would never have met if not for
Yeah.
Warhammer, like really good mates. So I really, really would benefit from that. And you can go anywhere in the world, can't you? It's like a
Mhm.
universal language. So if I had to emigrate today to Japan, for example, which
Mhm.
is the furthest away place that I could think of geographically, I could go to the local Warhammer store and
Yeah.
it's like an instant community. So
Mm.
I think that the hobby side of that is, the social side of the hobby, really, really great. And I think it's sort of undervalued a little bit, maybe. I think more people should really appreciate that side of it, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
And that's the thing a lot of people in the series have said, like that they like the game, they love playing the game, but what
yeah,
they enjoy painting, assembling models, etc. But what they really like is the social aspect of the hobby, getting together,
yeah.
discussing sorry, discussing the lore, discussing painting techniques, etc. And yeah. Uh, I totally agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's good, right? But if you say that to somebody who's not in the hobby, they'll be like, "What? What are you talking about?
yeah,
Like, how do you make friends from Instagram? You weirdo."
yeah, and
Yeah,
that
yeah, but if you know, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember trying to explain that I was painting plastic toy soldiers to former colleagues, and yeah, they saw me with a different perspective, like
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Are you sure? What did you just say? Are you painting
Yeah,
toy
they're like, no,
soldiers?
no, no,
Yeah,
that's for kids, isn't it? And you're like,
yeah,
no, it's actually not for kids at all. If
yeah.
like if you go read these stories, they're not child
Mhm.
friendly, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What do you like the most in the hobby? Is that the painting, the I don't know, the
Oh,
buildings, the
I
game?
think I think nowadays it's definitely the painting. I like to push myself and challenge myself to get better, and so that is like if you were to imagine a pie chart of time spent in the
Mm,
hobby, the
mm,
painting side of it is probably about like
yeah.
80%, right?
Mm,
So I think by default I like that the most, but then in terms of the actual enjoyment factor,
mm.
it's going to events and not even the games. I don't really care about the game itself, but all the peripheral stuff and I really love to just table hop during events
Mm,
and see what
yeah.
everybody else is up to. Right,
Mm.
maybe I should focus more on what I'm up to. I might win a game or two. But I'd probably say it's a tie between the painting and that
Mm,
sort of table hopping during an event and catching up with everybody. I
mm.
really enjoy that. I'm sure everybody else hates it, right? They're like, well, she leave me alone. I'm trying to roll some saving throws here. But yeah, I really enjoy that.
Yeah. And is there something that you dislike in the hobby?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we touched on it a while back when we did the sort of text interview. I don't like the
Mm,
drama. I don't,
Yeah.
and it entertains me. I laugh at it, but it seems to be too much too often,
Mm.
and I'm not really into it. As funny as it is, and as entertaining as it can be, I'm not a fan. Right, I would prefer to live without that side of it, and that would be my number one. And little sort of recently, what I'm seeing with the edition changes, I don't like the competitiveness of it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's it. So I view wargaming as like a collaborative sort of storytelling game, right? So I get that there's victory points and that
Mm.
there's a winner and a loser at the end of the game. I
Mm.
fully understand that. Like I'm not stupid, I'm not in denial, but I see the game itself, that 3 hour period, I see
Mm.
that as a
Mm.
collaborative thing, but it seems to be going much more competitive recently, and I'm not a fan, you
Yeah.
know. But the thing is, I don't own the hobby, right?
Mm.
So if people want to play like that, they can do, and it's just not for me, and I just won't. So
Yeah.
as much as I say I dislike it the most, I'm not the police, right? So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to stop anybody from playing how they want to play. I just won't personally engage with it. That's it, you know.
But that's that's very interesting because I think that's also my feeling with the new edition of Horus Heresy is that
Yeah,
mainly the new list building system leads to um, oblige people to think in an optimized way, in my
yeah,
opinion. And so it leads to, yeah, a much more competitive list building, like not competitive, but optimized. Like, yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's a
I
lot
need,
easier to be really, really efficient with what you're putting on the table
yeah.
now, isn't it?
Yeah, and so yeah, it's the only drawback I would say with the new edition because well, we will discuss that later, but I think it's a pretty good edition. But yeah,
Same.
right.
Yep, yep, same. As much as I've just criticised it a little bit, but I do think the core rules and the edition itself,
Yeah,
I agree with you. It's a good edition.
no, they did a great job for once.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I love the idea of yeah going to events not to only play games but also have a look at all the tables, speaking with people, etc. And
yeah,
I think very compelling what you said is that we are playing well when it comes to heresy, we're playing a game like with an opponent, but mostly we are creating a story with each
yep,
game, and
yeah,
that's
that's it.
what drew me to heresy is that yeah the narrative is really strong even if you don't do a full campaign etc and you can
Yeah, no,
build a
just within
story.
that
Yeah,
one 3 hour time block playing against
yeah,
a random pickup game, you can tell a story during that time.
exactly. Mm,
Yeah, I always try and get a warlord on warlord duel, even if I know I'm going to lose.
yeah.
Even if it's like random no name praetor against a Primarch, I'm going to go for it, right?
Yeah,
Because that's what the guy would do.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So
Mm,
yeah, I think that's part of the social contract of hobbying, isn't it? Is that you,
mm.
you go in with that kind of mentality,
Yeah.
you know.
And actually, there's something else that one of my good friend, well, actually the one who got me into the heresy, is also Blood Angel players, and
All right.
he always told me, yeah, the Blood Angels player, they are actually very cool and super friendly because they all often lose, so they are very chill and cool
Yeah,
people, and yeah, that, I think there's
yeah.
a part of that too. Uh,
The sadness of losing is ingrained in the Blood Angel's psyche. Right.
exactly.
Yeah,
Speaking of blood angels, so we have a little specimen on the side of the screen.
we
Oh,
do, we
little.
do.
Well, I mean little, with yeah, an amazing Leviathan Dreadnought. So this is one of your latest, if
He is, yeah. So
yeah.
he is the. Well, I only finished him earlier this year, specifically for No Retreat.
Uh,
So when I went to No Retreat in 2024, and then I reapplied to go back in 2025, but I applied with my Blood Angels army, but
mm,
my old version,
yeah.
and having been in 2024 and seeing the hobby standard, and what I'm about to say is going to be a
Mm,
little bit cringe, but it's true. I was really, really inspired to get better.
mm,
So between the two no retreats that I've attended, I really, really leveled up my painting based on
mm,
what I'd seen
yeah.
and what other guys were doing. And I was like, okay, so I've got this Blood Angels army already, but they're not good enough,
Mm.
you know. So I sold them. I needed the fear,
Ah,
right? I
yeah.
sold them. Yeah, yeah. And then that was in January this year. So I had from
Okay.
January until May to get 3,000 points painted, you know, and that sort of that fear of letting people down got me over the finish line essentially, you know, like
Mm.
I got the full 3K done. They're up to about 4K now. And this Leviathan, he was like the kind of the centerpiece, arguably, of that army. So I'm really, really proud of him, really happy. Like a lot of new stuff that I've learned that I had
Mm.
never really implemented in an army before. You know, airbrushing, for example. I'd never airbrushed an army before, so this was my
Oh,
first
yeah.
airbrushed
Okay.
army. So
Mm.
you can see the gradient on the red and
Yeah.
that, and all the little gems and everything. But the storytelling, so on his name, on his chest plate there, you can see he's called Elias.
Hmm.
My Praetor, the Tartarus Praetor that Forge World sold even, he's called Elias Sakura in my old army. So the lore was that because it's a reimagining of the first army, he's the Praetor now interred
Yeah.
in a dreadnought because I've got a new Praetor now. You know, um,
Right.
so I like to put that sort of storytelling level through my army as well. And yeah, him being the centerpiece. So I tried a lot of stuff on there that I'd never really done before. The kind of crystalline blades on his hand, the gems,
Mm.
the airbrushing, the using enamels for weathering rather than just dry brushing, you know,
Mm.
acrylic paint everywhere, stuff like that. So yeah, really improved. And then with the bases as well, there's a lot of stuff going on with the bases that the across the army, it doesn't really land on one particular piece, but across the full army, the theme hits with
Mm.
the base, you know, the industrial, and they're all going down steps because they're, you know, that combined with the flames, they're descending into hell, you know, so that's a little bit more, like I said, with the visual storytelling
Mm.
across the piece, right? Um, so yeah, I feel like if you were to look at my Dark Angels army
Mm.
from
Yeah.
2024 and then look at this Blood Angels army, the difference in quality is probably quite jarring because I really tried my best, you know,
Hmm.
like whereas before it was about like, yeah, I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it okay, but
Yeah.
I just want to get it done, you know, whereas now it's about I want to get it done as good as I can.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, as much as I sound like I'm praising myself, but there's a, you know, I can see the mistakes as well, right? So I can
Yeah.
see things I can improve on for my next project, um, which you know that's all you can really do, isn't it? Right? I always say, you know, I'm never really competing with anybody else, but I'm competing with myself. You
Exactly.
know, so I
Mm.
want my next thing to be better than my last thing,
Mm.
and lessons learned. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I might say that painting miniatures is a bit like, well, from my experience, is a bit like golfing, golf.
yeah,
Because you don't play against an opponent or anything, you're playing against yourself, actually.
yeah, yeah,
Like you need to a perfect focus, etc. But you know how to do stuff. You just have to really get to a level of focus and that you need to maintain also on a long period of time. And yeah, your worst enemy is actually yourself when
yeah,
painting a miniature.
exactly. And
Yeah.
then you take the pictures for Instagram and you're like, oh yeah, and then you notice all the mistakes, right? Because
Yeah.
suddenly that little tiny eye lens, it's like 1.5 millimeters long, but then you zoom in on it and make it like a centimeter wide, and you're like, oh, that's rubbish, right? You're like, yeah, yeah. So sometimes I think like the photographing part of it is the worst thing that I could do because I always notice mistakes
Yeah.
on photos, you know, but in the flesh, I'm like, what? Why can't I see that right now, you know? Yeah. But one of those things, right? It's like
Yeah,
we need to do it. But yeah,
exactly.
so this guy I'm really happy with. Oh, the tank.
Aha, yeah. No, this Lone Raider was also very very cool. Obviously, the blue doors and the banner, I like very very nice touches. But yeah, obviously, it's not easy actually to. I mean, those armies with a lot of red to break the monotony of the red. Yeah, it's pretty hard to do that. So this
Yeah.
Lone Raider is a
Most of the
great.
time you just use black, don't you?
Yeah.
But then if you use red and black, you've got, you know, is it a blood angel? Is it a word bearer? You know, that's
Mhm.
which is a problem that I had when I painted one of my squads later on. I gave them black shoulder pads and I was like, those are some nice word bearers I've just painted, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a sign that you are ready for painting road bear.
Well,
You know?
I don't know if you can see my pile of shame behind me over there. There's a cardboard box in the way, thankfully. But I've got a Wordbearer's Army in a box over there. It's
Uh-huh.
ready to go. It's long since been a dream of mine. And just need to commit.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Oh, you need a lot of commitment
you need
to
to be ready
order.
to spread the word, don't you? Can't do it by
Exactly.
half. Yeah.
Exactly. Uh, do you have favorite faction or legion within the heresy?
Well, you probably expect me to say Blood Angels right now, don't you? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's no
It's-
obligation about that because no, actually, because you did Iron Warriors, you did Dark Angels, you did Blood Angels. So,
yeah. I think in in the background, it's Imperial Fists.
oh, come on.
Yeah, yeah. Which people are probably thinking, what boring. All they do is build walls and all that. But it's the characters, right? It's not the Legion itself, but
Mm,
it's the characters within the Legion. So, which I know is one of the other questions about a favorite character or anything. But yeah, so Fafnir, Ran, Sigismund, and
mm,
Rogal Dawn. Like that trio, they have made like over the last few years. I was always Space Rogues were my favorite.
oh, okay.
Since I got into 40k as a kid, Space was my favourite. But
Mm,
over the last few years, the more I read and getting through the Siege of Terra novels,
mm,
which,
yeah.
they weren't always great. Let's be real here. Some of them were, in fact, quite bad.
Mhm.
But one thing that I really loved was that recurring thread, Fafnir Rand's story and Sigismund's story, and then the little snippets when it cuts back to Dawn, and seeing how the three of them
Mhm.
approached that war, that sort of like cataclysmic end of the world
Yeah.
war, but from different angles, right? So like Fafnir Rand almost reveled in it, didn't he? He's like, yes, like let's just do this. And Sigismund was like totally cold, calculated,
Yeah.
just out there taking skulls.
Mhm.
And Dawn was like trying to be pragmatic and making these difficult decisions every day and sending people to their doom essentially
Mhm.
while still trying to maintain hope. And I just really liked it. So over that series, Imperial Fists really elevated themselves up to the
Mhm.
top of my list for favorite faction. But artistically and on the tabletop, they don't do it for me. In the background, favorites, but yeah, on the table, not so much.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah, love
Uh,
them.
right. Now, I have to say, I despised Empire first before.
Well, can't be
No,
friends anymore, Jay.
but but then I reached. I'm on Saturnine now in the
Oh
Sea
yeah, great
River,
one.
and
Yeah.
as I was reading through the books, actually like Sigismund, yes, Fafnir, and even Combas Diaz,
Yeah.
and Dawn, yeah, they really got like leveled up in my opinion, because yeah, they are pretty good heroes in the end. Like,
Yeah, right. Like they know they're
yeah,
going to die. Like they know
no,
they're
they
doomed, but they
yeah,
fight anyway. Yeah,
I am, yeah, well, I love like Zadulayak very much more, for example, etc.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
Abaddon, etc. But yeah, the Imperial Fist characters, they have something, they have some depth also to themselves, like
yeah,
Sigismund doubting about his Primarch loving him, etc. Is yeah, it's not moving. I won't say that, but yeah, they are pretty yeah, they are very solid characters. So yeah, I can
yeah.
understand your choice. And speaking of character, do you have a favorite one from the series?
It's got to be Fafnir Ran.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. He's just a wee rascal, isn't he? He's like,
but
yeah,
it could have
mischievous.
been it could have been a space wolf actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, he's my favourite. I love that little story. I think it's actually in Saturnine, or it might be in the first wall, where he keeps
Yeah,
retelling the story about how when he was a little boy, his people thought he was the chosen one, and he's
Mm.
going to
Yeah,
end the line of the Dawn and stuff like
exactly.
that. Yeah, but then
Yeah.
obviously then he goes to fight for Dawn and be one of Dawn's greatest champions, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, I know he's a fictitious character, right? And I know it's down to Dan Abnett, isn't he? Why we like him.
Yeah.
But the way he's written to be just like that dark humor where the world is literally, and not
Mm.
even just the world, but the galaxy is ending all around him. And he's like, but he's still got a sense of humor, right?
Yeah.
He's just reveling in it and getting stuff done. And yeah,
Mm.
he's my favorite.
Right. And do you have a favorite battle or specific piece of
Well,
lore from the everything?
I do, but I don't want to talk about it if you're still reading Saturnine. So how far through Saturnine have you got?
Oh, I think I'm 200 pages in. But
Yeah, so
you won't spoil anything because all in all we all know the story and how it ends. So
yeah, I guess. Okay, so my favorite written piece is Camba Diaz's Last Stand.
okay.
It is like it's just
Mhm.
sort of 2 pages of masterclass. It's
Mhm.
brilliant. Dan Abnett at his best.
Yeah.
Um, and again, it captures the whole spirit of the Imperial Fist and Camba Diaz as a person. And it's like the horror of what it feels like to be getting charged by a like demonic horde of
Mhm.
world eaters, but to not care and to just rise to the challenge.
Mhm.
So it's really, really good. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but like he doesn't make it out of that story, right? But it's not about the end. It's about the way he meets that end.
Yeah.
So that's probably my favorite individual sort of chapter, individual little fight. And beyond that, probably in terms of actual story arcs, probably Sanguinius' story arc
Mhm.
through the entire like 70 odd
Yeah.
books, the entire series, him like he absolutely knows Horus is going to kill him.
Mhm.
And like he's seen it, he's lived with it, it's a burden that he bears. But he fights on and he does stuff and he keeps telling that like the writers kept using that phrase and he's like, I don't die today. And so
Yeah.
he does all this crazy heroic stuff, like he goes and takes out a Titan by himself because he's like, well, I'm like Horus isn't here, so I'm not going to die, right? And
Exactly.
so yeah, it just spurs him on to heroism. And then in the end, he dares to hope, but
Mhm.
he dies.
Yeah.
Like he thinks he's found a little loophole. He thinks that, oh well, maybe Horus doesn't
Mhm.
need to kill me,
Mhm.
but we know that he does, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's been canon for 40 years. Like that's
Yeah.
we know that happens, and it's so tragic, right? Because he's really the best of us, you know, and he tries his hardest, but in the end, it doesn't matter. He
Mhm.
still dies anyway, right?
Yeah. But he did
So
well.
that
He did that. Well, he sacrificed him actually, and for the emperor to prevail.
yeah,
So yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And he
Uh,
goes there knowing that's it,
yeah.
right? So
Mm.
I think the individual battle definitely can be Diaz's last stand, but the
Mm.
overall story thread has got to be Sanguinius. I
Yeah.
like can't get enough of it.
Right. And actually, it makes me think about the old vintage diorama by Mike McVeigh, maybe.
Yeah.
You
From way
remember that
back in, I
one?
think that was 95 that he did that in.
Yeah.
Was yeah, geez.
Yeah, this one was like absolutely mind-blowing. Like the Emperor Sanguinius and Horus. Yeah, it was something that is really a landmark in the collective imagination about the heresy. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so you did several different armies. Do you have a specific process before getting into a new army project?
Yeah, I mean, I yes, it probably sounds quite convoluted, but I'll take you through it. So obviously I have like I choose the army, right? But then I have a system artistically whereby I think, right, what am I trying to learn? What technique do I want to get better at during this army? Like so that at the end, in a year's time, for example, see, I'm starting Iron Warriors right now, okay?
Hmm.
And what I want to get better at right now is my metallics and getting colours from my metallics. All right,
Right.
so they're not just going to be silver. They're going to be silver, purple, green, blue, orange. Like
Mhm.
there's going to be a lot of going on in that. So in a year, if I've got a 3,000 point Iron Warriors army, I want to be able to sort of tick that checkbox in my brain and say, okay,
Mhm.
I'm quite good at painting metal now.
Yeah.
So I have I choose the faction. I choose the artistic sort of real life challenge that I want to set myself in doing that project. And then I think, right, what story am I trying to tell here? Like why does this army exist? Like it's not just a bunch of
Yeah.
models, it's not like, oh well, las cannons are really good, so I need a
Yeah.
las cannon squad. It's more about like what story am I telling here? So you can sort of see that through all my armies, there is, maybe it's not obvious what the story is, but if I tell you, it'll become obvious. So, like my Blood Angels that I've just done, the story was that they're sad, right? They're depressed. They think
Mhm.
Sanguinus is dead, and they're down to quite an elite core. They're not very killy, but they're tough. They're stubborn. They're hard to kill. You know,
Mhm.
and that has actually played out over the project. There's a lot of Terminators in the army,
Yeah.
um, and then on the table as well. So they don't win a lot of games, but they never die. They never get wiped out.
Mm.
Like they suffer losses, obviously, but they live up to that sort of
Yeah.
meta idea of just being really stubborn on the board
Mm.
and really being hard to kill. Um, so that's it. So I think like mission success for the Blood Angels, like that has actually played out in reality how I wanted it to be. And the skill that I was trying to learn for them was the airbrushing. And
Mm.
again, I think like, there's still a way to go. There's still a process and a lot of learning to happen there. But going from being a total novice to now,
Mm.
I would say I'm probably an intermediate airbrush user. So yeah, succeeded in that. So that's kind of that's like the two-step process, the real life artistic challenge and then the in-universe story to be told through that army is how I approach a new project. And then I don't stop until I think I've sort of achieved both of those.
Yeah.
So sometimes an army only gets to 3,000 because that's kind of the de facto bare minimum, but
Mm.
sometimes they expand and expand and expand
Yeah.
and, get to, my old Iron Warriors got to about 10,000, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah, yeah. So that was it. Sometimes it becomes a little bit of a burden.
Yeah. Then it's a space issue. Then like yeah,
Yeah, right, right.
lots
And
lots of
then you've
boxes
got to sell
everywhere.
them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's well. I mean, for the heresy, for the narrative, it's not circumvoluting at all. I think it's
Yeah.
very on point, like on for the mental process to get through and choosing and picking the units, building a list and painting. Yeah, that's yeah, that's pretty very cool. So we were speaking about Terminators. Here are
Yep.
some Crimson Paladins.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Some big boys.
yeah. Uh, did you manage to paint all that trim without getting, without losing too much of your mental health?
Well, those five guys probably took me about 6 weeks to paint. Yeah, no, like really, genuinely, the trim killed me. I remember
Oh,
it
no,
was it was over Christmas that I was painting the trim, uh, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure I've got this in me. Like so. I sort of started and stopped and started and stopped, and then I had to walk away because, like, I mean, just look how much there is, and and it's on the back of the shields as well, and stuff. Yeah, it doesn't stop, right? And because I'd already airbrushed the red, so there was no room for error.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
Like it was maximum concentration all the time. So yeah, that unit almost broke me. I
yeah,
remember when I finished them, and I was like, I'm never doing any more than five of these guys. Like this, that's it. Like five paladins will do me for life now. No matter, even if they become the best thing ever on the table, right? Even if they're absolute auto include for Blood Angel players, like I'm not doing any more. Because yeah, the trim is just it's a lot, right? It's a lot,
yeah.
Yeah, but I like them. I'm happy with them, you know. But it's like I don't know if the Germans have probably got a word for it. I love them, but I hate them.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I can understand that too. But they look pretty cool. The violet gems. Wow,
yeah, yeah,
purple, violet, and yeah, they look good. And actually, the contrast with the red is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean it gives a well, you can notice the gems from a distance. So yeah, that.
yeah. That was one of my
Mm,
missions for the project was to make those gems stand out.
mm,
So I went with purple. Actually, just copied my mate Barry Amphiadis on Instagram.
mm,
He is we've been mates for like 20 odd years now, and
mm,
he's always been a big advocate. If you need a spot color, choose purple. Purple goes with everything. And so I'm like, yeah, well,
mm.
if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me, right? So yeah, like that sort of seeped into my own painting culture. Is that if I'm ever in doubt about what spot color to use, it's purple because purple's the right answer. No matter what the question is, purple's the answer. So yeah.
And I think I may be mistaken because I'm terrible with names, but I think that Brian, I think you know Brian from Canada.
Yeah, 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 Brian. Yeah,
Yeah,
Canadian Brian.
yeah,
Lovely guy.
he did Blood Angels a while back, and I think those Crimson Paladins almost killed him too. It's a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. It's a
yeah,
recurring theme, right?
yeah,
They're not
exactly.
nice to paint.
Yeah. So we will discuss painting a bit more later, but let's talk a bit about the game itself.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy playing the game? Is it like more an excuse to display models? So
Yeah, I
tell
mean,
us
no,
about
I,
it.
I enjoy the gaming. I do. I enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's my priority. If Games Workshop announced today that Heresy was no longer an actual
Mhm.
game, but they were going to keep selling models for it, I probably wouldn't be that sad. Um, it's nice. It's more an excuse to meet up with people, right?
Mm,
It's more an excuse to catch up. Like I enjoy like getting a coffee before the game or
mm,
after the game and having a chat, probably more than I enjoy the actual game itself.
mm.
But I do still enjoy the game. It's fun, isn't it, to push models around and roll dice and you know play heroes for a few hours, right?
And is there is there a strong community in your whereabouts?
Yeah, so in Scotland, there's actually a
Mhm.
quite good crowd. I don't get to interact with them all as much as I would like
Mhm.
to, just because, like we mentioned earlier on, I'm obviously quite
Mhm.
a busy guy. But yeah, there's a couple of groups that are running events now. My mate Chris, he runs a Warzone Heresy Scotland, they're called. So they run really great events. I've been to a few of them.
Mhm.
They typically run two or three a year, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of opportunity to go.
Mhm.
Lloyd, who I know you had a scheduled a
Yeah.
chat with Lloyd before, so
Mhm.
he runs events as well. I went to one of his in June.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, there's other communities propping up that I don't know on a personal level yet, but there's other little groups popping up. Um, there's a lot of stuff happening in
Mhm.
Scotland in the heresy scene right now. Unfortunately for me, it happens without me for the
Yeah.
most part because just life gets in the way, and I have
Mhm.
this priority where it's family first, right? So I won't sacrifice like family
Yeah.
activities to play
Mhm.
Warhammer. So if we've got anything planned at home, then that takes precedence over
Mhm.
Warhammer stuff. So I tend to miss quite a lot of events, but I'm still made it to a fair few over the years.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, they're always good. Community itself is actually like full of good guys, so
Yeah.
it's good to be in. It's a lot easier now than it was 30 years ago to find a game.
That's right. And did you attend some events in well, I mean during 2.0, but maybe last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, I've been to quite a few 2.0 events. Done the two no retreats in 24 and
Mhm.
25. Done a lot of the Warzone events that I talked about.
Yeah.
The Chris runs. So what else did I do? I went to one of Lloyd's events in June. That was probably the last 2.0 event because
Yeah.
that was like the end of June, and then 3.0 landed in July.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been getting around the block a little bit. I want to start going further. There's a few on my hit list to go to
Hmm.
down south, and so most of the stuff that happens in the UK happens kind of quite far down in England,
Yeah.
or even if they consider themselves to be in North England, for me it's
Mhm.
still like a 7 hour drive
Yeah.
south.
Mhm.
Um, so it's quite difficult to get to in a weird way. It's actually easier for me to travel abroad than it is to travel
Ah,
to the south
yeah.
of England.
Mhm.
So I've got a lot of things that I really want to do, a lot of events that I want to get to, but it's just the time.
Mhm.
That's it. So a Saturday and Sunday event for me becomes a Friday to Monday event,
Yeah.
you know, and at
Mhm.
that point, it's a little bit like
Yeah.
it's
Four
a bit of
days.
a tough
Yeah.
sell.
Mhm.
But I'll get there. We'll make it work.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, from my understanding, it was Callum, Saga Miniatures. He told me that they were hosting events in the north of England, but still, yeah, it might be a long way from Scotland to their place. It
Yeah.
was in well, I can't remember well. And then, yeah, it might be easier just to take a plane and a flight for
Yeah,
some
that's it.
hours
So,
to get
yeah, I can drive
someplace.
to Glasgow and then get a flight to like
Yeah.
Washington DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would actually be easier. It'd be a lot more expensive, but it'd be easier than
Yeah.
getting to London,
Yeah.
or getting to some of the places like Heresy Hammer. They run events, but to get there, it's four different trains.
Yeah.
So they're on my list, right? So I want to go to one of those events, but
Mm.
it's like it's just a lot more logistically difficult to go there than it would be to go to another country.
Yeah.
And so it's which sounds weird. That probably makes me sound insane, but
Mm.
that's the sort of weird truth of it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and so you played a few games. Did you ever throw Metal Mini or Resin Tanks also qualify for this category at a
Yeah.
non-sporting opponent or just because you were a bit angry?
No, you know what? I would never throw something that I've painted myself. Yeah, right. Wouldn't want to risk scratching my own models. Uh, no, I'm more of a just like eye roll and walk away type of guy.
Mm,
It's not
yeah,
worth it, is it?
yeah,
Yeah. It's
mm,
like if somebody's having that type of day and that's how they want to roll, then you know, whatever. The game's just not for me at that stage, right?
mm,
Like I'm here for a laugh,
yeah.
but like that's it. When I go to a table, I don't care about winning or losing, but I care about having fun. So if
Mm,
I'm not having fun, then the game's going to be over really fast,
mm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really mind because my favorite thing about events as well is the table hopping aspect of it
Mm,
and just kicking about, seeing what other people are up to. I actually don't mind just conceding a game.
mm.
Like I'm quite happy to shake hands and give the guy the victory and just walk away, right? It's no skin off my back. So yeah, I wouldn't let it get to a point where I'm angry enough to throw something, you know?
Right. No, that's fair. So sorry. So now back to painting. Just before discussing that, we have a couple of dreadnoughts on the side of the screen. So the Incadeus dreadnought,
Yeah.
the specific one for the Blood Angels, and a Derudeo. And I mean, you have a thing with dreadnoughts, right? You
I
love
love
them.
dreadnoughts.
Yeah, you love those. Like,
Absolutely, absolutely love them. Contemptors are my jam. Yeah,
yeah.
I love the inherent tragedy of a dreadnought,
Mhm.
and it like so. Being a marine is like it's a life sentence, isn't it? You know that like they don't get to be humanity. Like they don't get to retire and go and start a family, right? Like they fight for, even if we look at obviously in the heresy, the oldest one will be 200 years old, but if we look at contemporary 40K lore,
Mm.
Dante is
Yeah,
what,
right.
like 1500 years old, right? So they don't get to retire, they don't
Mm.
get a rest,
Yeah.
So being a Marine itself is
Mm.
tragic. And then, like, they finally die, and they've got this phrase that only in death does duty end. But then somebody, like some random apothecary in
Oh,
Tetbreen, are like, not today, buddy. You get to die again, right? You get to serve for 10,000 more years. So I I love that sort of tragic element to a dreadnought that
mm.
they're probably in there thinking like, please just let me die. I've fought enough. I've done my time.
Right.
Um, and
Yeah.
also, just
Uh,
artistically, they're really cool models.
yeah, I saw a meme recently about like there was a picture of RoboCop. Do you remember RoboCop?
Yeah, yeah,
And the text was if you're having a bad day at work, remember that this guy died at work and they brought him back to be a cop again. And
yeah. Right.
below there was a
There's no
dreadnought.
escape.
There was a dreadnought pictures, and the dreadnought was saying, "Bitch, please." Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know what it is. Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
This made me laugh. So yeah, dreadnoughts are yeah they are very very cool models, but they come with a whole tragedy. We
Yeah, yeah, it's that whole tragic element to it that
yeah.
really sells them to me. Like I just love
Absolutely.
it. I'm like these poor guys, just let them die. Just let them go. Right? Give them peace.
Exactly. How would you describe your painting style?
Tough one. I feel like it's a kind of mix of the old 90s White Dwarf style, or it's trying to be that. I
Mm,
don't think I'm quite there yet. It's trying to be that 90s White Dwarf style, but with modern techniques.
mm,
I would say I don't know if that sums it up well, but yeah. So I like the edge highlighting. I like the really saturated bright colours. I like that, they call it the red era, don't they? I like the red era style of painting.
mm,
But I also really like the new weathering techniques that we have in the hobby sort of zeitgeist now, where you know, like the sponge chipping and all of that, and the oil streaking. So I like to clash those two different styles together. It's sort of like really saturated, but also a little bit a grimdark style,
Yeah.
mixed together. And I guess it becomes its own thing.
Hmm?
It's I don't know if probably I guess my work would probably be fairly identifiable. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm like absolutely overselling myself there, but
Mm,
um,
I
I
don't
like to
think
think
so.
I've got my own style.
Yeah, but I mean, the style with edge highlighting, but still not everywhere, like we saw in the previous episode with Geoff, who is like a
Yeah,
pure,
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
absolutely. Like
heavy
patience
metal.
of a saint to do that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think he has mental issues, but yeah, please don't tell him I said
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I know he's going to look to watch the episode. So yeah, hi Geoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now the thing, the mix of yeah, the classic edge highlights with also weathering and noise, etc. It's pretty identifiable. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say you are not overselling yourself, and well, I didn't see so many Blood Angels or other minis that have that kind of painting style. So yeah,
Yeah, most people do one or the other, don't they? They either
yeah,
do like the airbrush base coat and then they weather it, or they
yeah.
do like the bold colours and the edge highlighting.
Mm,
And there's not really a lot of overlap for people like throwing those two different styles
yeah.
into the mix and coming out with an army like this. So yeah, I think it's quite
Mm.
good, right? It's quite good to try new stuff as well.
Mm. Yeah, no, but and it's still like noticeable from a tabletop distance too. Well,
Yeah,
I didn't see those in person, but I think it pops. It still pops on a tabletop. So yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And what would you say is the hardest technique that you are using on a regular basis?
Whoa, it has to be edge highlighting.
Ah, yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
no matter how much I do it, it's still difficult,
Mm,
and there's so many factors at play, and again, the pressure of no room for errors if you're doing it
mm,
over an airbrush
mm,
base coat. So like it's mechanically difficult in terms of hand-eye coordination and brush control and getting the paint the right consistency.
yeah.
But then also you're stressed because you're like, if I mess up here, then it's like I've done it, right? It's gone. Um, but then that's where strategic battle damage comes into play because you can hide a lot of sins with some good weathering, can't you? So
Mm,
that's that alleviates the pressure a little bit. But yeah, definitely, even after all these years, like edge highlighting still probably the hardest thing.
mm,
Yeah.
right.
So
And
yeah.
what would you, well, you talked about that a bit before, but what would you improve or try something new?
I think right now, so metallics is my
Yeah.
thing, right? So I've been very guilty in the past of my metallics are very much they're like a, a base coat, a couple of washes, and some highlights, and
Mm,
that's it. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Yeah, it's certainly like it served me well over the years, but right now I really want to get better at like putting different colors through my metals and making them look a little bit more realistic. Because
mm,
if you look at something gold out in the world, it's not just gold and then bright gold. Like you get the full spectrum, don't you? It goes through purple, brown. You know,
yeah.
everything reflects off it. So I want to get better at that. That's my current learning process right now. Is everything I'm doing, I'm putting a wee bit more effort into my metals and just trying to make them look a little bit better, a little bit more interesting,
Mm,
a little bit more sort of visual appeal. Rather than I don't want them to look like, oh yeah, he's put a base coat on, then he's
yeah.
washed it, then he's given it a little dry brush. I want them to look like the effort has actually been made. Um, so that's definitely it for me for right now, for this year anyway. If you ask me again next year, I'll have something new.
Yeah. No.
You know.
Yeah, it's always like always improving, always trying
That's it,
something.
right? Yeah, the learning never stops. It's
Yeah.
every day's a school day.
Right. Do you have a favorite color to paint?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to say red, aren't I? Like,
Yeah.
I love painting stuff red. I love purple as well,
Mm,
genuinely. And we joked about it earlier on about it's purple's the answer to every question, but I really do love painting stuff purple. That's why I use it so often. all my cloaks are purple and stuff like that. But yeah, genuinely for a good base coat to build an army off of, I really love the red system that I've got now. I'm really happy with it. I think it sort of jumps off the table at you,
Mm,
and it's quite, it's got good interesting tones through it. It goes a little bit purple, goes a little bit orange, but it's still very, very just bright, saturated red
mm,
overall. So yeah, I really like going with that.
right. And is there a color that you avoid to paint at all cost because it's boring to paint or you just don't like it?
White.
Yeah.
Genuinely,
Okay.
yeah. I just, that way, because white stuff to fit in the Warhammer aesthetic, in the Warhammer sort of art style, you have to have your white either starting from a sort of creamy khaki color or starting from like a blue, or maybe a grey.
Mm,
But like real white doesn't look like that. So I know that Warhammer doesn't have to look realistic, but out in the real world, white things are just white.
yeah.
Like yeah. And then they get weathered, but they
Mm,
don't tend to have a color gradient. So I don't like painting white for that because I don't think I can do it very well.
mm,
And I don't think I can settle on a system that I'm happy with. But this is like the total sort of contradiction of hobby. I love
yeah.
looking at other people's white scars armies. I'm like, oh man, that looks amazing, and like some people take it through a green sort of hue, some people start from blue, and I'm like, oh, these white scars are great. I should try that, and I'm like, but then I don't. Yeah. I never get past the thought of trying that. So I love looking at white things that people have painted, but I'll never try it myself.
Right. So we already discussed a bit about your ongoing projects and future projects, but so now are you fully committed to the Iron Warriors by now?
Well, I've got one guy painted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Woo.
I've done one. I've got four more sprayed on my painting table.
All right.
Um, I don't know is the answer. I don't know. I
Yeah.
yeah, I've not actually picked up a paintbrush in about 6 or 7 weeks now.
Oh.
So yeah, I was on holiday. I was in Florida, but besides that, I've just been kind of busy and
Yeah.
can't really decide what I want to do. So analysis paralysis. I've done nothing.
All right. No, well.
Right. I should just do something and get it out of the way. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to make a decision really soon because it's
Mm,
time to get a project going
yeah.
for the new edition, right? So rather than just have my old second ed army,
Mm, yeah.
and I'm trying to make work in third ed, I need an actual third ed army. So um, I will be deciding very soon,
Mm.
and you'll see it. Yeah, so, yeah, it'll be it'll be one or the other. It's
Yeah.
going to either be Iron Warriors or even more Blood Angels. Because my Blood Angels have got no line now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mm,
I ran Day of Sorrows in second edition. The
mm,
entire army had line. Literally every infantry had line
mm,
except for the Praetor.
mm,
Um, but now, like the five Crimson Paladins that we had on the screen
mm.
a minute ago, they're the only things that I've got line now.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little bit like, okay, so if I'm going to use them ever again, I'm going to need to paint some tactical marines or some veterans or whatever. Um, but at that point, I would commit to doing a full sort of new revamp of it. So
Mm.
it's either going to be a fully new Blood Angels army or a fully new Iron Warriors army. Um, and I don't know. I should probably decide quite soon. Any thoughts? I'm
Well,
open to ideas.
my advice would be like paint something else, like I don't know, a goblin, and then
Yeah,
you decide. You see?
fair. You
Yeah.
know what? I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a
Yeah.
random side project.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
just a random miniatures, like
Yeah.
maybe not even warmer, like I don't know, a bust, something.
Yeah. That's
Now,
scary
well,
though. They're so
yeah.
big. The mistakes stand out better. Right?
Or just yeah, when in doubt, just paint word bearers, you know.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, I could do that. I've got one
Yeah.
more bearer
Ah, yeah.
over on my shelf. Yeah, he could use a friend. Yeah.
That's a good start. No,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
honestly, well, I would just advise just to take the time to be sure to commit to a project that will
Yeah.
be fun. That's
Well, that's it, right? Because a 30K project is a massive undertaking.
mhm.
So if you can't really hate paint a full project, you have to be
Yeah,
into it, don't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can love painting miniatures that just don't want to paint like 40 tactical marines. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if they're yellow. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Um, is there a model that you are really satisfied with or most proud? So just a side note, we switched to Dark Angels.
Yeah. Going back in time now to that
Yeah.
Kratos, that was winter 2022.
Yeah, that's the
Jeez.
Wayback Machine. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like only yesterday, but yeah, it's been a while. So is there a model that I really want to paint, or I'm really proud of? Sorry, I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
Um, I think my recent Praetor and Standard Bearer
Mm,
tag team, I think I'm really proud of them. The two in Terminator armor
mm,
and probably the two best things I've painted. Yeah, so I'm really happy with them. The Praetor got a pin at No Retreat as well, so
mm.
I'll take that as a little bit of validation for my feelings on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm quite chuffed with them, and they were like the final bits of the army.
Mhm.
So they're not the two most recent things I painted because I came back and painted more since then. But at that point, that was a culmination of like all the effort and all the testing and
Mm.
like the 60 other things. And then as a treat, I got to paint those two. And yeah, loved it. Really happy with them. Tried a lot of stuff. So yeah, they'll sort of live with me for a while yet.
So yeah, so that Herald, well, banner guy and the last Blood Angel Praetors are your favorite, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I think we will see the banner guy just right after
yeah, yeah.
in the next slide. Is there a model that you won't ever paint again?
Oh, yeah. I think
So we talked about the Crimson Paladins, but maybe something else.
think they're it. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but yeah, those paladins, I can't face them. I think I've got PTSD. You know, it's just a trim. I just don't know it was worth the effort.
Yeah.
So I just can't be bothered. I've got five more in a box behind me,
Mm.
and I'm like, every time I see the box, I just think, nah, not today. You know that way. It's like, oh, maybe you would be good, but no,
Mm.
that's somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
I guess. When I sell the army in like 2 or 3 years, like somebody else can deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
yeah, so
that
I
would
would have to go with the Paladins just purely for the trim. Like
mm,
I just, yeah, did not enjoy
mm.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I always say that, but I will say it again. In French, we have a slang word which is trimer, which means doing a really hard and painful job, work, labor. And
Yeah,
like trimer,
yeah.
that's about the same. And I think it's not a coincidence. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Right.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, I'm going to start using that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What are you going today? Yeah, I'm going to Trimer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Right.
Is there a model that you're dreaming to paint, but you never get to paint it yet?
Yeah, I've got a Reaver Titan. I bought it. This is a crazy, well, no, it's not that crazy, but in in 2018, I
Mm,
went to Warhammer World and I had a job interview. So actually, well, the job interview was in 2017. I'll take this back. In 2017, I went to Warhammer World and I had a job interview in Nottingham, and I got that job in 2018. It took a while, took a while for the recruitment process to get sorted. And at that point, it was a massive pay rise. Right? It was huge, right? So it was like a life-changing pay rise
yeah.
in terms of for me and my family. I treated myself to a Reaver Titan. That was my one thing, my one concession to like myself was like, okay, got this massive promotion. I will I'll buy myself a Reaver. It's still not finished. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just like yeah, it's my white whale. It's sitting over there. It's kind of got base coats on now, and we built a base for it and stuff, and it's just like it's a never-ending project, and because anytime I've got like time that I could dedicate to painting the Reaver,
Mm.
I've got another event on the
Yeah.
horizon, and I need to finish my army for this event.
Mm.
Um, so yes, that would be it. That would be. I would like to sort of have a break and be like, okay, I'm going to paint this Titan now, you know. But it seems to just never happen. There's always something better to do, you know, because it's such a big task as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
you have to commit like fully to it for
yeah,
yeah,
can't do it
several.
in one session, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
So, and it's that Titan, that Reaver is going to haunt me. It's going to get buried with me, half painted. You know, like going to live on forever in my grave in its base coated state.
Do, do you see
It's
do you see it in
yeah.
your dreams? Like you
I
need to
you know
paint
what? It's
me.
got to the point where I've got a son. It's his birthday today. Actually, he's 7 today, and
Wow. Yeah.
for the last sort of 6 months, he keeps coming and saying, "Oh, Daddy, are you going to finally finish that big red robot?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, man,
I kid.
leave me alone."
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
some
If you want something for your birthday, stop asking the question.
I know, yeah, stop putting me on the spot here, man. Right? I'm like, give Daddy a break, jeez. Yeah. So yeah, but that's it. So it's crept into my life now because he knows,
Yeah.
right? And he's not shy about reminding me. So I
Well,
think I'll probably never paint it for myself, but I think I'll paint it to get him off my back.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can save it for I don't know, his 15th birthday something, and then you gift it
Oh
to him,
yeah, be like, here, you paint this.
and then that will be his burden, you know?
Oh,
Like,
it can be like the family curse. This
yeah,
Reaver
exactly.
getting passed from generation to
The,
generation.
the
Yeah.
family legacy, like, yeah,
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
great grandfather bought it in a like,
Yeah, man. Yeah, he bought it 100 years ago, before the apocalypse.
Then
Oh,
you can run tests on the coat of paints and see that they
yeah,
are separated by like centuries or
yeah, yeah. Like cut it
yeah.
apart like the rings of a tree, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Work out how many times it's been repainted. Yeah. So
Exactly.
that's I'll get to it one day. I tell
Yeah,
myself, you know.
yeah, sure. I'm sure about that. And if you could create a non-existing model, what would it be? Well, saying that that question was here from the inception of the interview series, but now about the heresy, we add a lot of new models since then, so
Yeah.
there are maybe not much that are lacking, but still.
I think it would have to be just more of the characters, wouldn't it? I'd quite like to see Arcan land and his little monkey.
Mm,
I think that would be a good model.
mm.
Yeah. Or hmm, I don't think we'll ever actually see it, but the Emperor himself,
Ah, yeah.
you know,
Mm,
maybe. Because why not, right?
mm.
Like if they're going to take it to its natural conclusion and have models to reenact the entire heresy,
Yeah.
including like the demon primarchs and whatnot, then why not just do the Emperor?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm,
And let us fight on the vengeful spirit at the end. You
exactly.
know, like
Yeah.
let us reenact that. So
Mm.
um I guess that would be it. You know, I'd quite like to see Camba Diaz. He got rules, but
Yeah, he
no
got rules.
model. And
Yeah.
I mean, he got rules quite a while ago now, didn't he?
In
The
the
Beta
Mars,
Garmin book.
yeah, in the Mars Civil War book. Yeah.
Oh, was it the Mars book? Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So I mean, but that's been at least a year now anyway, hasn't it? And still
Mm.
no miniature. So
No.
yeah, I feel like we've got all these great characters people read about and
Mm.
they sort of like they want to recreate in the table, and then you get the rules for it, and you're like,
Mm.
okay, right now I've got a framework. Now I know how this model should look,
Mm.
and you can go and kit bash it, which is great. Creativity is always great, but it would be good to see like the official version of that,
Mm.
you know. So yeah, I think probably Camba Diaz realistically
Mm.
as what I would want and expect, but pie in the sky, you know, wild expectation. The Emperor would be great. However, I'm not going to hold my breath for that. I don't
Mm.
expect to ever actually see one. Yeah, but yeah, that's a dream though, isn't it?
Yeah, but that would be really cool to be able to play the final act of the heresy.
Yeah,
So yeah.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, that would be
Absolutely.
it.
Mm.
Just, you know, have a weird like cobblestone village slash spaceship
Mm.
sort of crazy terrain board and have him and Horus fighting in that throne room. Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were talking about the banner guy. I'm sorry, I had to stretch a bit the pic so it looks a bit like not as it is. But this guy was a part of your no retreat army, and so as I was told, you did a little free-handed banner competition, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this guy was never actually part of the army, but
Ah.
there was a an unofficial freehand banner contest going to go.
Mm,
I don't know who started it. I think it was Ben Coggers, maybe.
mm,
I can't remember who started it, so I might be wrong there, but it became a thing. And I was like, I'm a total sucker for peer pressure. So I was like, oh man, I don't actually have a command squad or a herald in my main army. But we got to like 2 weeks before, and I thought,
mm,
yeah, you know what, I'm going to do one anyway. Right? I'm going to paint a banner,
mm,
and so this is the end result of that. And I'm quite happy with it. Yeah. So again, I was talking earlier on about I always try and learn these new techniques and stuff like that. And there's
mm,
always like a real world goal behind like the project. So
mm,
going for the thread effect there and the fabric was my thing there. And the non-metallic metal gold trim on the
mm,
skull chalice thing. I'd never done that before, so I thought, yeah, might as well try it. Um, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. It fits the theme of the army. It's retro. It's got that old sort of second ed vibe to
mm.
it. Got the
Yeah,
flames and all
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
It really has that, I mean, that rock trader feel about the iconic, the wing and the, what do you say, chalice, or the,
yeah, the chance. Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's Tycho's heraldry, isn't it? He's always had the
yeah,
bleeding wing, but he
exactly.
doesn't have a chalice underneath it. So I
Mm,
didn't want to just do Tycho's banner. That's why
mm,
I had to add another element of it. But yeah, I think it's quite identifiable, like you say,
mm,
as being from that era,
mm.
which is what I was going for. The whole project was like weaponized nostalgia, right? So that was
Yeah.
definitely that's very
Mm,
nostalgia invoking with that
yeah.
banner.
Mm. No, and you can absolutely picture him like uh, disembarking from a land raider, leading the way to the rest of the unit, etc. No, this one is
Yeah,
very cool.
yeah.
So we are mostly done with the hobby question. Now it's time for the real questions. Like,
Oh, really? Here we go.
yeah, yeah. For starters, an easy one. Would you rather go on a trip across the warp with Erebus or Engram?
I mean, this is a tough one, right? Because on one hand, Angron would just kill me in the first 2 minutes and my torment would end. But
Ah,
on the
yeah.
other hand, if I'm there with Erebus, I could spend a whole eternity punching him in the face.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
could do that.
so it's a tough choice, instant death and then be free from the pain, or
Mm.
an eternity of like taking it out on Erebus, who's the real bad guy of the heresy.
He-
I'd probably just flip a coin and let fate decide. There's no good option there, is there?
No, there's
Yeah,
no good option. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Did you ever wash the brush in your coffee beverage? And if yes, did you enjoy it?
Well, I'm guilty of this before. Yes, so I just use a regular old glass as my paint water
Mm.
tub, and when I'm at my desk, I'll often have like a glass of whatever water, Coke, anything like that, and I'm really clever, so I put them right beside each other, because where else would you put them? And yeah, so I've done it before. I'm
Mm.
quite bad, I've drank like the microsol as well.
No.
Not from the bottle, obviously. Like I'm
Oh.
not insane,
Yeah.
but I've made the mistake of washing it in my regular paint water and then licking the brush, and I'm like, oh man, this is probably quite toxic. Like, shouldn't have
Yeah.
done that,
Mm.
you know.
You can tell by the smell of the.
Yeah, right. And it's like instant regret because it's like muscle memory and habit. You just go, I'll lick this brush and I'll get it to a fine point. Oh no, I've just inhaled some like really bad toxins there. Probably going
Mhm.
to die now. Tell my kids I love them. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm quite bad for that. It's got to a point where I've stopped having a drink at my desk,
Mm.
like because I just can't be trusted.
No.
Like, I'm basically an idiot, you know. So if I do have one, it's normally a can now, and I'll drink through a straw, and in that way, like I won't get confused.
Yeah.
Or touch wood. That's the dream is that I won't get confused, but it still happens. Right.
I
I
think
think
it's
that's part of being a hobbyist, though, right? It's a rite of passage. got to drink your paint water at least once, right?
Exactly. I think it's a guy from the interview on Instagram who gave pretty good advice. Is just that if you are going to have drinks at your hobby desk, just put them on bottles, you know, so
Yeah,
you don't get confused. And I think it was Frank Roux from Italy.
yeah,
He does a really great Mechanicum and also other stuff. He's a great guy. So yeah, yeah, drinking paint water is like a rite of passage. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Uh, is there any kind of sport or physical activity that you enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, mostly I just go to the gym and lift some weights, which you probably can't tell because I'm not looking very big right now. But yeah, that's really the only thing that I do. In my youth, I've been into football and boxing, but it's just, time and injuries have taken their toll, and
Mm,
I'm limited now. So I can, I can go for long walks and I can lift weights, and that's basically me. But
mm,
it's enough.
yeah.
Keeps me fit, keeps me
Mm,
young. So
yeah,
happy
yeah.
with that.
Nah, if that's enough, that's enough. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. There's no point pushing it. I think you get to a certain age and you need to listen to your body and not do stuff that's just going to, come back and haunt you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. And then, when you reached a certain age, like doing intense sport, etc., is not as good for the for the body that
Yeah,
you have
right.
been.
Yeah. Don't want to be getting like impact injuries
Yeah.
in your 40s, right?
Mm.
It's not for me. So
No,
yeah,
we don't need that anymore. Do you have
100%.
any favorite food and drink, or maybe a combo of those?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of food, I'm a bit of a sucker for pizza, which is like, yeah, I mean, I always joke about like my ideal body shape is like when it's obvious that I know my way around the gym, but I also know my way around a pizza. So yeah, like that. Italian in general, I know pizza's not really Italian,
Mm.
like an actual Italian would kill me for saying that. Italian food in general, like pastas and stuff, they're my favorite, lasagna, all that stuff. But yeah, my sort of like if I'm ever going to have junk, it'll be pizza. You
Yeah.
know,
All right.
yeah. So that's it for me. And in terms of drink, God, I just love a good coffee. You
All right.
know,
Mm.
yeah, it's like people people slag me for it sometimes, but I'm like, yeah, like, I want a nice coffee, right? It's a humble request. That's what I want. You know.
Uh,
Um,
do you have any particular dishes in Scotland? I'm sorry, I'm a total like I don't know anything about Scotland, so
our sort of national food is haggis, which is like all the bits of the sheep that you wouldn't normally eat stuffed
mm,
back into its stomach.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's uh, it's not great for me. People
yeah,
love it. It's the national dish and it's a treasure and it's part of the culture. But
mm,
I'm not a fan personally.
yeah.
You
All right.
know, it's yeah. We don't have healthy food here as our signature foods. Right? Anything deep fried.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
when people lived, I mean, in the islands, like I picture them like living in the islands in the I don't know, uh, the third to 10th century. You have to,
Yeah.
to come up with some like pretty solid food to
Yeah, right.
no.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
So
pretty
yeah.
much it. And it's I
Mm.
don't know why we're still eating it now, but yeah, like, the world has moved on since then. Like Scotland is just refusing to budge.
Yeah, but
Uh,
some traditions are, yeah,
yeah,
you need
yeah.
to keep some of those. You can't
I
throw.
know. Do you know this is actually quite interesting? I had an argument at work about it, and the guy was talking about culture and keeping alive like old languages. So we've
Mm,
got different languages up here as well. But I mean, I don't. I only speak English, right? So like, it's gibberish to me. And this guy was like, "Oh, so the Scottish government spent like £60 million getting signs all around the country
mm,
in dual language, and now where I live is in Scottish terms, it's quite far south.
mm.
I've never met or heard of anyone that can speak Gaelic.
I know.
It's not a thing
Mm,
anywhere. So that 60 million quid could have been better spent on other things. And this guy was like really, really mad, and he's going, "Oh, we need to keep the culture alive." And I'm like, "But the culture's already dead. Nobody speaks that language. Like a
mm,
bunch of signs aren't going to change that."
mm.
It's quite funny, but yeah. But the haggis is still alive. Like the language
Right.
died, but the haggis lived on. You know.
Yeah, but well, I mean, if it's part of the culture and that you are not urged to eat that every day, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's okay.
Once a
But-
year.
Well, if
Once a year, or we're not Scottish anymore.
yeah. You have to give your passport back if you don't.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. We have to move to England.
Ah, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we go into cliches, I can, yeah, we can go farther into that. Like if you have to wear kilt, play
Oh,
bagpipes,
mate.
and eat, I guess, at the
Yeah.
same time once a year. So,
With
well,
my face paint on,
oh
blue and
yeah,
white
and the face
stripes
paint.
around.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
Reaver. Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Sorry about the cliches. Do you do anything else while you are hobbying?
No, not really. I am a bit of a weirdo on that front. I like sit and paint in total
Mm,
silence.
yeah.
Like no audiobooks, no nothing, like no distractions at all.
Mm,
Like it's just I get lost in my own little world. Yeah, just me and the model. And then before you know it, it's 2 a.m. and you're like, I should probably go to sleep now.
mm,
Yeah. So that's it. I know a lot of people love listening to audiobooks and having like the 30K lore on in the background while they're
mm,
painting the 30K,
mm.
but it just distracts me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm,
I can't do it. I've tried, and then what I end up doing is like sitting with a model and a paintbrush and just listening, and then
mm,
the paint's dried on the brush, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I've just ruined my brush now. You
Mm,
know? So yeah, silence or nothing basically
mm,
for me.
mm. But I get that because actually I see a lot of people like having a laptop or a computer screen on the hobby desk.
Yeah,
And actually, for me, the hobby time is time without any screen. Like
yeah,
it's so well, and I'm saying that knowing that most people, well, not there are not many people who watch the series, but the people who watch the series usually do that while they are hobbying. But
yeah.
yeah, for me, it's no, I can't do both. Like no, it's
Oh, same. Yeah, I just couldn't concentrate on the two things
mm,
at once.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Maybe it's an us problem.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe we're the weirdos.
Right. So no, you have to pick a side. I'm sorry about that, but you have to pick a side.
Oh,
Uh,
you put me on the spot here, right?
So Blood
Yeah.
Angels or Dark Angels?
Reluctantly would have to say probably the Dark Angels would have it in the bag.
hmm And
Yeah, like the Blood
yeah.
Angels are probably a little bit more, if you could imagine a pitched battle, they'd get the
Mm.
upper hand quite early on, but I think the Dark Angels have got a lot more tools in their toolbox, a
Yeah.
lot more of that Dark Age tech, and a Primarch that's still alive.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, I think ultimately if it came down to it, yeah, the Dark Angels would carry the day, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
With a bit of plasma shenanigans,
Yeah.
etc. Yeah.
Let's unleash the Excendio and job done, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe war crimes are
Absolutely. It's only a war crime if you leave a witness, right? If nobody survives to tell the tale, you
right.
know?
Yeah, yeah, I have to say that this makes me laugh. I mean, genuinely, it's just that nowadays, speaking of war crimes, etc., isn't that laughable anymore because
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean,
because of
yeah.
the
In the
war.
real world,
Yeah,
horrible, right?
yeah,
Like, don't do that. But in Warhammer, yeah,
yeah,
war crime away. Yeah.
yeah. In the 31st millennium, yeah, go for war crimes. Yeah.
Yeah, the Geneva what? Geneva suggestions, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I never signed them myself.
Yeah. So no,
Yeah.
I have quite I mean almost a philosophical question, but is a blood angel without armor trim really a blood angel?
I mean, I'm going to say yes, all right. The armor trim does not make the man. It's the thirst for the blood of innocence that makes it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the darkness in his soul that makes him a blood angel, not the trim on his armor. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh. Well, that would make a great quote, for the introducing the army. Like, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, right. I have to say that as well because I've got a lot of Mark 6 in the army, so they don't have any trim, you know. So any other answer has to be wrong, you know.
Right. And if you have to pick a weapon to use for yourself to attack something or to defend yourself, would you pick Phosphex or Graviton?
Whoa, I mean, for me, when I'm out hunting wild haggis, you
Yeah.
know, for that once a year Scottish dinner, I would probably go with Graviton. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, yeah. I feel like, you know, Phosphex is a war crime and therefore it's bad. So, you know, if it's me using it in the real world, I'm definitely not going to do it. You know, if in the 31st millennium, yeah, probably Phosphex, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, war crimes are they're good to go at that point.
Yeah. And,
Right?
yeah. I mean, I'm actually like dying laughing with now while thinking about Phosphex because I just read so the first war, and
Yeah.
there's a there's a scene where the Forix, the an Iron Wire
Yeah.
captain, is walking with his unit across the Lion Gate or Lion Spaceport, and
Yeah.
they they come across phosphates, and so some iron warriors die like in a an horrible manner,
Yeah.
and Forik is thinking, oh god damn it, those imperial fists they used phosphates, oh those bastards, etc.
I
They
know.
have
Yeah.
no like they have no boundaries no more, and then
Yeah.
he thinks to himself, oh, maybe it's all phosphates because phosphates can still like alive for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we don't know whose phosphates it is, but it's still very dangerous. And yeah,
Yeah, right. It's still bad.
yeah,
I like the total hypocrisy as well about like, oh, the Imperial Fists, they've got no boundaries. Meanwhile, he's got like demons. You know, he's got literal nightmares from hell on his side, right? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So we're done with the interview questions. A last few words and a bit of models appreciation, because we can see some different models here. We have a bit of a tactical squad for the Dark Angels, and
Yeah.
we can appreciate those as they deserve it. And I mean, I really, well, I have a thing for the Blood Angels, obviously another contender, and this assault squad is very, very cool. And you used some MK5 helmets within the
Yep.
unit. Yeah, those are, yeah, they are brutal. Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to make the army look somewhat ragtag.
Mm,
So obviously they're all Mark 6 bodies, right? I didn't go to the full
yeah,
effort of converting the bodies, but Mark 5 helmets, a few Mark 4 helmets sprinkled around, different arms, different
mm,
older model chainswords, stuff like that. I
mm,
just, yeah, I wanted them to look kind of not disorganized, but as if they were a remnant squad pulled
right.
together from different units, you know,
Mm,
rather than just like, yeah, I feel like you build the unit stock right out of the box and then everybody, they could be clones, couldn't they? Right? They're just
mm,
like 10 identical guys.
yeah,
And I didn't want that. So that was kind of my thinking there. Like a little bit
mm,
ragtag, a little bit ad hoc. Um, and hopefully it comes across, you know, even um, just the different helmets, you know, as the focus of the miniatures.
yeah.
It's
No, it's
quite good to have
enough
a bit of
to,
variety.
yeah, it's already enough to give it a lot of diversity. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I picked another dreadnought because this one, the one thing that I really love is the burnt on the chest, on the well, on the belly,
yeah,
the black battle damage. This one is really awesome. Like you really think it got scratched, burnt, etc. And I love that part. Like yeah.
yeah. The,
Wow.
the Death Guard Contemptor's too good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Mm,
like one of my favorite models. I've had one in every army I've done. There's always a
mm.
Death Guard Contemptor in
Yeah,
every army because it's too good.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I really like that.
Mm,
That was actually the first thing for this army.
mm.
That was like the test piece.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So You can, well, you maybe can't tell now because you wouldn't be looking for it anyway, but
Mm.
the gold on that is very basic compared
Yeah.
to the rest of the army.
Mm. Mm.
You should probably go and touch it up. But yeah, it's you can see went a little bit extra with the transfers and that because
Mm.
it was a test model, right? I wanted it to look good. So yeah, I'm glad you picked that one. I really like that model.
Yeah, no, he looks menacing, like, yeah,
Yeah.
a real threat. And for to finish this, so I picked, so that's Sicarian Arcus for the Dark Angels, because I really loved, well, actually, I loved your Dark Angels too. They are pretty cool and solid as a whole army. And actually, I'd be happy to have painted any any of those models. But I love the Sicarian pattern. It's my favorite tank within the Heresy. And this one, uh, well, you went with m more weathering on the Dark Angels than with the Blood Angels, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I wanted to look a lot more sort of dirty and
Mm.
mid-campaign compared
Mm.
to the Blood Angels look fairly fresh.
Yeah.
There's still scratches and chips,
Mm.
but they're fairly fresh.
Mm.
Whereas the Dark Angels, they've seen some things and some stuff, right? They've been in the trenches. So
Yeah.
yeah, I went quite heavy on the chipping, quite heavy on the rust in the streaks and
Mm.
stuff like that, and then the dirt on the tracks. So
Mm.
yeah, I really liked this. What I liked about this tank here,
Mm.
funny that you've chosen it yourself as well. It's quite a good blend of like the airbrushing, the edge highlighting,
Mm.
and the weathering. Like I was saying earlier on, which is kind of my style.
Mm.
Um, and you can see little bits of like trying to learn new things here, like the Volkite. This is the only example of
Mm.
Volkite that I've ever painted. I
Yeah.
just didn't know what to do with it, so I thought,
Mm.
oh, I'll try and make it look glowing orange, and
Mm.
not sure how effective that is. But you've got to try, haven't you, to find
Mm.
out. Um,
Yeah,
the
it's
story with this, it was so badly miscast that I had to up armor the the
uh,
missile racks.
yeah.
Yeah, so I just plastic card and ball bearings
Mm.
for rivets. Um, but yeah, it was like proper ridiculous mold slip all the
Yeah.
way down the missiles. Um,
Yeah, that's the issue with some of those yeah, resin components or tanks from Forge World. Like, yeah, you can have not good casts at all. So yeah.
exactly right.
Mm.
And yeah, and it was like I think I bought it when it first came out, so it was like way too long to
Yeah.
complain about it as well. You know,
Mm.
like yeah, I'll just try and fix this.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, good. That army's gone now. I sold it, so
Ah,
maybe
all right.
maybe that can be my next project is to redo the Dark Angels. Yeah,
Well, uh, anyway, uh, this was a very cool hobby chat. Thank you very much. Well,
no,
she,
thanks for having me, man. Well, like I love the series, so it was good to be on and contribute to it. And hopefully keep it going as well. So
yeah, well, that
yeah,
was a pleasure to have you, and I wish you like a lot of fun with your future project, where Iron Warriors or Blood Angels or anything else.
yeah. Anything except Imperial Fist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. And no, I'm looking forward to see more minis from you because yeah, well, I'm just enjoying every mini that you're sharing. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time. And wow, who knows? Someday we might cross path on an event or
yeah.
someplace.
Cross swords, maybe at no retreat. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Well, who
Yeah,
knows? But yeah, I have my doubts about that. But who knows?
yeah,
Anyway, thanks and bye everyone. Oh, and just a last word before we leave it to that today. The channel just got above 100 subscribers, which is, I mean, unbelievable.
yeah. That's
Uh,
good,
so,
right?
so
Yeah,
thanks everybody who just clicked on the subscribe button. If you enjoy the series, feel free to join the 100 human beings who already did that, or maybe there are some bots within that
yeah.
100 people.
They're
I
all
don't
real
know.
people.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
Or maybe I just created like 99 accounts and just that.
that's how you spend your time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm too busy. Yeah, I'm creating bot
Yeah.
accounts. Yeah. And no, so thanks everyone for that. And if you like the series, like not click, subscribe, like, share, talk to it at school, with your family, with your friends, at work, like, spread the word. And wish you a happy hobby until next time. See you
Thanks
guys.
again, Jay. See you later,
Bye.
mate.